Uh, Good morning, students. I'm sorry, I actually lost my voice and still very difficult to talk. So I'm gonna talk about nutrition, which is the topic we actually taking in the class. Now, I've covered the section of the categories of nutrients we have. And as I've mentioned to you, if someone asks you what nutrient is, you will say it's essential substances, or sometimes you say chemicals, which the body needs in order to grow and stay healthy. They are carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, fat and oil, and water. So these are the six we have, sometimes called this fat and oil. So now let's talk about the carbohydrates. The structure and function. Carbohydrates are sugars and starches that the body uses for energy. So the major source of energy for every living thing is carbohydrate. The major source of carbohydrate is the plants, and which is actually found in the food we eat. And we have carbohydrate divided into two types. So they are simple carbohydrates. Sugar that are quickly broken down is an example of a simple carbohydrate, and it's found in oranges. You find in oranges, it's found in milk, cookies, and also the candies we take. And the complex, which is starches that are composed of many sugars linked together. If you could still remember, I mentioned to you before that the uh, glucose is the smallest form of carbohydrate. Let's say this is glucose molecule. Then when the glucose molecules are linked together, they form a long chain, which will form a more complex carbohydrate. So this is what makes it complex. So examples that provide body with long-term energy, since they are digested more slowly than sugars, so they stay in the body more for a longer time. We find them in lots of food: rice, potatoes, and beans. Now proteins, the structure of protein are made up of many amino acids. The same thing I told you. Let's assume this is amino acid. Amino acid is a small molecule, or one single molecule of protein. When it's linked together, it forms a long chain of amino acids, which is what we call protein. So the meaning is, if protein is broken down in the body, the simple form of protein is going to be amino acid. So that's the reason it says proteins are made up of many amino acids connected together in different arrangements. It might be a chain, it might be ring, it might also be some other forms of arrangement. What do they do for you? They help in bodybuilding. So they need to the body to grow, and they have to repair the worn out tissues. We have around 20 types of amino acids, and 9 of them are called essential. Why? Because they must be obtained from the food we eat, and the body cannot make it, but the remaining ones can be made by the body itself. Now, let's talk about the complete proteins. The examples of food that contain proteins are fish, meat, eggs, milk, and cheese. All of these contain proteins in them. The incomplete proteins are food that are missing in some amino acids. Example, the legumes, the nuts, or the whole grains. All of these are examples of proteins, but they don't have a complete protein molecule in them. Now the next one is, what about the energy we get from protein? Energy source for the body more than carbs and proteins. They also help to protect and cushion the vital organs as well as the joints also. They insulate the body. They help to create insulation. The meaning is they help to create a layer of fat in the body. This fat helps to protect you from losing some energy to the environment and protect cold from coming into your body from the outside. So this is the reason why the people with a lot of fat in them, they sweat a lot because of the insulation. Fat belong to a group of organic compounds called lipids, which are the substances that do not dissolve in water. Fatty acids are the building blocks of fat. What do they mean here? Let's say this is fatty acid. So fatty acid will be joined together to form a what? To form fats. So the meaning is if fat is broken down, it's going to be broken down to smaller molecules of fatty acid. So now let's move on to saturated and unsaturated. Saturated, unsaturated contain fatty acid that are missing hydrogens. When you say something is saturated, the meaning is it has all of the hydrogen atoms in it. But when it's unsaturated, the meaning is it's got some missing hydrogen atoms in it. So that's the reason it is unsaturated. At room temperature, they are typically in a liquid form. At room temperature, they are in a liquid form. But when they are less harmful to the circulatory system than the saturated, food with a lot of unsaturated fat like canola, sunflower, and peanuts, they are very good for the body. But the saturated, they contain a maximum amount of hydrogen atoms. And that's why they are saturated. The meaning is they cannot take more of hydrogen molecules. So that's why we say they are unsaturated. They are saturated, sorry. At room temperature, they are solid. So the diet with too much of saturated have been known to cause heart diseases. Food with a lot of saturated fats, beef, egg yolks, and dairy products, they're not very good for the health. So this is enough for the lesson 1. So we're going to proceed from calories in the lesson 2. Thanks for listening.